Good evening, folks, and welcome to Super Speedway Kings Truck Series. We are tonight at Talladega. I'm Rick Souza with Jeff Nini with the IWM Broadcast Network. We appreciate you joining us tonight, and we look forward to some great racing as we begin to come to the close of this season with the Super Speedway Kings.
That's right, Rick. This is our 11th race out of 12. And the last time we were at Talladega was back in race number 7, I think it was. So guys haven't been here for a while, but they've been out getting practiced up and getting all the bugs out of their trucks and getting their setups fine-tuned, and they're going to be ready to go.
Well, we've joined now in qualifying. We've got a number of drivers who are out there currently qualifying right now. Times have not populated yet into our scoring tower, but we expect them momentarily, and we'll soon figure out who is going to be on the pole for tonight's event.
Yeah, we had some good times in practice in the low 51s, or excuse me, 50.3, 50.4 were some of the faster times that we had. A lot of the guys were in the 51s or 52s during practice. Just kind of depends on where they were in the draft and how many cars they were drafting with.
So if you've watched us before, you know that in the qualifying, you'll see times, as you're seeing now on the board, in the 55 time range. But when we get to pack racing, that number dramatically improves, and they'll shave 5+ seconds off this time.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast these trucks can go when you get in a pack. And we'll see it tonight with some of those in-truck cameras that we have that we can look at. You'll see what these drivers go through as they try to run probably most of the evening 3 wide on this wide and long Talladega track.
So we're popping in on a few drivers here. That's Sean Stevens in the 27. We'll see who else is in. As the board begins to populate, we've got a number of drivers here tonight. I think, let's get a better count here. I think we've got 35. I could be wrong.
Let's see. I see a 36.
36.
Yeah. Oh, 30. Well, it's not keeping up. My iRacing is usually a lap behind. According to this, we may have 39. That doesn't make sense.
Well, I've got 40 in the car count, so we'll see
okay.
who makes it in. Yeah. Well, at least that's who registered for the race, so we'll see if all those cars make the grid.
Yep, number 40 just popped up on mine.
So right now,
Butler,
Gabe
from Team Bootnaka out there qualifying. He usually is up towards the top of the heap when it comes to his qualifying speeds. I don't know if he made it up there today, or he's just rolling out now, maybe. Nope, he's coming in. Oh, there he is, number 2, 55.02. 0.03 of a second behind Jenkins in that 90 machine.
Just a few drivers are left to qualify at this point. Now, in this league, they only do one. Of course, that's the way it is at Talladega. The first lap is always the fastest lap. So, well, now that qualifying is beginning to wrap up, let's take a look at the track facts for tonight and our race information.
We have the Super Speedway Kings Truck Series at Talladega. And first, let's make sure we thank our sponsors, Wow Video Tours, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and Over the Top Designs. We appreciate those 3 companies, and they make this broadcast possible. So if you get the chance to say thank you or throw some business their way, please do that. The race information, 77 laps. These guys have 2 quick repairs. They're running at 68% of fuel to make sure they get some Fuel stops along the way, hopefully some green flag stops. Pit road speed is 60 miles an hour. They have an unlimited set of tires. They can change tires as often as they want. And if we need them, we have 2 green-white checker sessions available to claim a winner for this race.
All right, now that the grid is up, let's go through the grid, Jeff. What we've got is Gary Jenkins in the 90 on the pole. Outside of Gary is Gabe Butler in the 88. To the inside, Rick McKinney in the 029 and Steve Korosek with the 027 on the outside. Jimmy Crow Jr. in the 39 is in 5th, and Zachary Lima in 30. In the 30 is 6th. Jude Conrad in the number 8 is in 7th, and Cody Nagels in the 6 is in 8th position. Michael Mello is in the 211. He is in 9th, and Patrick Groover in the 01 is in 10th.
We've got Tom Dixon on the inside in P11 in the 411 truck, and alongside him, James Mohan in the 7 machine. We have Sean Stevens in the 27 in 13th spot with Dean Wilkinson in the 55. They're in 14th. Robert Rock in 15th in the 171. Mike Rimkus in the 21 and 16th. Eric Laurie in the 71. J.D. Crow in the 5. And Seth Groover, Patrick's brothers, back in 19th in the 02 truck. And Mark Mann in 20th spot in the 04 as the trucks roll off.
In 21st, you've got Joshua Gaithright in the 89. Jimmy Reynolds in the 026 and 22nd. Everett Lane is in the 24 and 23rd position. Tony Wright is in 24th. In 25th, Al Cena. George Rincon in 26th. David Bond in 27th. Donald Sadusky in 28th. Donald Stewart in 29th. And Bradley Allison is in 30th.
And Logan Helton back in the 31st spot. Zachary Workman alongside him in the 19 truck. James Mayer in the 95, alongside Shane Posey in the 83. Elijah J. Brown in the 43. Edward Fielder in the 111. We've got Brian Rainville in the 60. First time he raced with us was last week. And then Brian Kimbler in 38th in the 22. And last but not least, Todd Siebels in the 45 and Jimmy Crawford in the 71. 40 truck field tonight, Rick. That's a lot of trucks.
That sure is. All right, so the lights are off on the pace car. We are about to get this race started. We appreciate you tuning into the IWM Broadcast Network for this broadcast of the Super Speedway Kings here at Talladega. Got lots of drama as this series is coming to a close with points leaders and who's here, who's not. We'll get into that later in the broadcast. Now that the pace car has dropped off the track, Gary Jenkins is the control car. And he's taking us down. Got Gabe Butler on the outside in that high lane. You'll see 3 wide soon enough with these guys. In the Geico restart zone, and we are green flag. We are underway here at Talladega with the Super Speedway Kings.
Yeah, you gotta love it when you hear that green, green, green.
Well, that outside lane really took off to a great start. You got the 88, the 027, the 30, and the 6 just pushing each other all the way.
Inside of the line getting organized now and trying to get back up there. Looks like that Gabe Butler going to drop down to the inside, take over the lead. Boy, that outside lane, we've not seen that before, but that outside lane, even in the turn, is pulling ahead.
Yeah, that's something new. We'll have to double check these numbers. I'm not sure about that number that's on. So in our scoring pile it shows as the 027 for Steve Korosek. just double check that at the same time. Gary Jenkins, your pole sitter, has kind of slipped back a little bit, but that's to be expected. Third line is already forming up, and we haven't completed our second lap.
Yeah, we seem to have some discrepancies in the number. Oh, there it is. Yeah, my sim racing app is jumbling the numbers up for some reason tonight. I love that in-car view.
Yep, you are riding along with Gary Jenkins. Now, Gary's a little bit further back in the field, but that gives you a good visual of just what these drivers are seeing. We'll try to grab another in-car shot a bit later on with some of these other drivers.
That third lane's forming up nicely now. They've got 4 or 5 trucks out there that are trying to... Whoa, little contact. Somebody went down to the inside. Looks like he saved it on the apron. Gonna stay green. That's awesome. Great save by
definitely some
whoever
contact.
That was. Yeah.
I thought Tom Dixon and Mike Rimkus got together. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at that real quick. There it is up top there.
21 goes up. Whoa. 2 cars out of control there. 411 bounces off the wall. A lot of trucks down on that apron.
Yeah, that's Dixon. That's Tom Dixon right there. We stayed green. We stayed green. All right, we are 3 wide here at Talladega. You'll see lots of 3 wide action here. That's how these guys run. You'll see, as you're seeing now, lots of lane changes, lots of working back and forth. Some of it is part of their strategy. Do I want to run the fastest line? Do I want to block? Do I want to work side draft? All those factors come into play here with these Super Speedway Kings. They don't have that title for nothing.
Yeah, that is for sure. Well, we've talked about this, it seems like every race, but we will try to call out who is in what position, who's on first, and it changes before we can get it out of our mouth. These trucks just jostle for position constantly as the lanes move forward and backward. Guys get a run and guys get hung up. So bear with us as we try to bring this to you accurately. That 30 truck of Zachary Lima keeps flirting with.
Yep, we're keeping an eye on right now. Zachary's right down that low line. As we've come to expect, that middle line has made good progress. That's the 027 course. Just as we did that, Steve Korsak drops down to that low line as we were talking about earlier. Field is a little stretched out a bit.
I'm having internet. There we go. Yeah, I'm assuming it's my internet's having issues tonight.
Yeah, you dropped out for a second there. Well, there is a fair bit of storms rolling through the south and the middle of the country.
Well, I think I'm back now.
Okay.
It's my screens keep locking up, and then Discord disconnected. Tried twice to patch me back in, and finally reconnected. And hey, these trucks are still on the track and still going for it.
They sure are. So we are at lap 7 of 77. Steve Korsak in the 027 continues to show us the way. We got Zachary Lima, Cody Nagels, Patrick Groover, Gabe Butler, James Bohan, Gary Jenkins, JD Crow, Eric Rory, and Mark Mann. That's your top 10 right now. Give it a minute, it'll change.
That is for certain. These guys, they don't hesitate to get 3 wide. That third lane doesn't quite get as many vehicles up there, but they're up there and they're going for it, and they'll run 3 wide all race long. So it's tenuous for these guys to be able to control.
All right, as you've probably heard, that was
Make time as a spectator. I'm sorry, I'm cutting in and out, I know.
That's okay. We'll make it work. So let's go over. Let's run in car with Everett Lane.
Look at his hands, just constantly making very minute adjustments.
So Everett's kind of running that high line right now. He's got Mark Mann in front of him. And you're 3 wide here. We have another camera in the car. Let's jump into that camera. You can see what that driver sees. Every little bit of contact, how close they are to each other car, even the little bits of rubber that's on the windshield. That's what the driver sees. All right, so that's lap 10 of a scheduled 77 here with the Superspeedway Kings at Talladega. Definitely more organized than we've seen. I guess these guys are probably glad to be back at a wide track like Talladega. They're able to run solidly here. Definitely organized earlier than we've seen in previous events. But they're battling it out. Cody Nagels is our current pace setter. He's swapping with JD Crow. JD Crow is on leading that outside line. The 6 of Cody Nagels is leading that middle line, and the 027 of Steven Korosek is running that low line. Now it's really important for that car behind them because, as we probably, or you may have heard before, you don't want to be pushing the pusher. So as the car is setting the pace in the front of the line, the car behind that truck can affect them aerodynamically, even bumping them to increase that race speed.
One of the interesting things about this league is they run an open setup, and we've talked about that in past races, but by running an open setup, what it's doing is giving these guys the ability and the opportunity to tweak their own trucks. They can change things like air pressures, spring rate. They can change the shock adjustments on the trucks. They can change roll bar settings, different things like that. So it gives them a lot of freedom to work with the handling of their truck and get it just the way they want it, the way they're comfortable running it. Some guys like a loose truck, some guys don't. They want it to be neutral so that it's not tight or loose, not pushing or threatening to spin out all the time. But it's another aspect of what these guys are doing out on the track. They're thinking about what can I change during a pit stop. They'll be coming up on pit stops here in another 8 laps or so. We're guessing around lap 21, 22 for a pit window if we stay green that entire time.
So you can imagine these trucks are running nearly 200 miles an hour at the end of this backstretch that, you'll see them jostle around, but they've got to be spatially aware of who's above them or below them as they change lanes. And just like in real life, it's really a game of inches as that truck begins to move up in front of the other truck or move down. And sometimes you make mistakes where you get caught in a blind spot and you're not really sure. A lot of these guys use a virtual crew chief or a spotter that calls out what's happening. iRacing has one built in, but it's not always instantaneously accurate.
With 4 wide there is looks like they're lapping that. I couldn't catch the number on that truck.
I think it's Shane Posley in the 83 that just went by on the outside. A couple of trucks are a lap down. Tom Dixon and Mike Rimkus were involved in that earlier incident. They wound up going a lap down. I think Shane Posley may have been also involved in that. Good run on that high line from the outside. That's the 5 truck of J.D. Crowe. And they came off turn 4 with a huge head of steam.
My iRacing system has crashed, so it's not allowing me to see a lot of what's going on. All I can do is watch part of the speed the same way as folks at home are. But again, that third lane is really solid. They fade a little bit in the corners, but they're catching up on the straightaways and even get a good run, get back up there to the lead. So a lot of times these guys, they know that they can't get way out in front in lane 3, but what they can do is improve their position. They can get up, hopefully somebody below them changes lanes, they can drop down into another lane. You'll see that from time to time. And then some guys just like that third lane. They like being out there, they like that wall being right next to them, whipping past them at 185, 190 miles an hour. That's not the place I like to be, but some of these guys, you'll see them run out there all night.
Yeah, we can run in that cockpit. We can get a shot. Let's bring up that dashboard. We can begin to see a little about what you're seeing. This is J.D. Crowe. We're riding along with J.D. here. We'll ride the lap with him. You're seeing 186. The telemetry bops around a little bit, but that's kind of to be expected.
Yeah, I doubt he can tell the difference between 186 and 182. It's all fast.
Caution, caution.
Oh boy. Lap 17. Our first caution of the night. Once again, we did not make it to that green flag pit stop window. Green flag pit stops really make this exciting. Let's take a look at what happened here.
Let's try to bring it back up. And once we can kind of figure out who was the...
Ooh, right there.
Oh.
A little airborne.
Let's back that up a little bit. I see the 55 truck involved. That's Dean Wilkinson. Let's back that up just a little bit. And switch to a different camera. Let's see what we see.
4 wide there, and that is never good.
No, and
things just get too tight.
There was definitely contact as they went 4 wide. And unfortunately, that drove that the 19 into the wall. And unfortunately, he comes backwards.
Ooh. Yeah, the 55 got just barely tagged by that truck coming off the wall. He's facing the wrong way. That is not a good sight. You do not want to see that when you're looking at your windshield. See all those trucks coming at you, just piling on.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of carnage currently on the track, and I'm expecting that we'll probably see these guys coming down pit road now, those that were not involved. And here we go. So here at lap 18, we've got the majority of the folks who were either not in the wreck coming down pit road now for their first stop of the night. Now what we've seen here at Talladega, as other super speedways, is they'll come down, they'll get one side of tires and fuel, and then head back out. Tires are not quite the main issue here at super speedways.
Yeah, these turns have such a long radius to them that you don't wear the tires nearly as bad as you do on a short track or even on the 1.5 mile or cookie cutter tracks. So your tires last a lot longer. The heat gets to them from running 185 miles an hour, but what these guys have figured out is if they come in, to change all 4 tires takes longer than it does to fill up the truck with gas. So you'll see them, like Rick said, taking one side, like this stop. A lot of guys took left side tires, filled up the truck with gas, and then next stop in, they'll take right side tires, fill it up with gas. So they'll always have decent tires, and that's good enough when you're pack racing like this. It's not as much of a handling track as it is just pure drafting. You want to be able to draft. You want to be able to push and be pushed.
Yeah, so a typical 1.5 mile track like Atlanta, Charlotte, Vegas, you'll see, Texas Motor Speedway, you'll see major tire fall off after the first 15 or 20 laps. I mean, that could be the difference between a 30-second lap to a 32 or 33-second lap. Here at these super speedways, the fall off is really minimal, and it's really just fractions of a second. So getting on a new set of tires, you'll take that opportunity because, frankly, you're going to be in the pit anyways because you have to top off your fuel.
This will really jumble up the lineup here, especially in the middle of the pack. Some of your lap cars coming in now.
Yeah, you'll also see some of the guys who are not lap cars. This is J.D. Crow coming in, and all he's going to do is come in and get a splash of fuel. He's going to get just a tiny little bit of fuel and head right back out. You'll see other cars do that right now too. They're just in for a second or two, and whatever they burned off, could be like a quarter of a gallon. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, and it really helps them if everybody comes in. They don't gain as much of an advantage, but they don't lose as much in the way of track position.
Well, we've got a whole different group of guys now running at the front on this restart. David Bond, I think, will be our control car, and Elijah Brown will be on the outside.
And I got my iRacing back up and running again, so
okay, there you go.
That's helpful. One of the things I was disappointed to hear tonight, we have a new start time. We started a half an hour earlier, and because of that, Sebastian Marin, who happened to be our points leader, was not able to make it in time tonight. So unfortunately, he was our points leader in spite of missing one race. But now this will be the second race he has missed, and that's going to drop him at least out of the top, probably the top 3 or 4, maybe worse. It all depends.
We'll see how that affects the overall points, and depending on how other people finish in this race, it may not hurt him too badly.
Yeah, that's what he's hoping for. I can guarantee that.
Well, our pace car has dropped off the racing surface, and we're looking to David Bond as our control car to take us back to green flag racing.
There we go.
All right.
43 got a great jump there.
Sure did. Now, as you can see, that field is completely stretched out.
Elijah Brown got a real nice jump there, but boy, look how quickly they go 3 wide, and that third lane is on the move.
Yeah, a lot of the guys jumped up to that third lane.
Yeah, the Groover brothers are up there.
Cody Nagels is leading it.
Yep.
That's Patrick Groover. You got, wrecking. The 30 came down.
Yeah, he did. He came down and he was not clear.
That's going to bring out our caution.
Yeah, Zachary Lema just came on the radio and apologized. He said, I came down too late. You could see what he was trying to do. He saw the momentum coming in that middle lane, tried to get down in front of it and just waited a little bit too long and took out some good trucks there and went for a nice, it was like an airplane ride there for a little bit.
Yeah, lots of acrobatics happening there.
Yeah.
All right, so our second caution of the night has come out rather quickly. Little miscalculation there, a little error in judgment, and
yeah, I think looks like Brad Allison in the 03 machine should be our lucky dog candidate. We have several drivers a lap down.
Yeah, he shows on my screen as well as being the lucky dog candidate. My guess is that most of these guys will come back down and come down pit road and just take some more fuel.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they take tires because a fuel stop's going to be very, very quick. I don't know if they'll take the time to put right sides on or not.
We'll just watch Todd Siebels here. I don't think, yeah.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Taking right side tires. The 43 truck of Elijah Brown did not take tires. He just took fuel and hardly had to stop at all.
Yeah, I got to figure, his was a 5.6 second stop, which is just fuel. All right, we are at lap 23. We'll probably be back to green flag racing momentarily.
Looks like we had some guys stay out there to gain some track position. I see Logan Helton up there at the front, Gabe Butler, Gary Jenkins is our control car, I think. Yep. I'm guessing you have that info, I think, Rick, but I'm guessing that those guys did not pit. They elected to stay out and take the track position.
You are 100% correct. Gary Jenkins, Logan Helton did not pit. Also, for that matter, Gabe Butler and J.D. Crow stayed out. So really the top four. And some of the guys further on back in the pack, Joshua Gaithwaite, James Mayer, Shane Posey, did not come down. Donald Stewart, Tony Wright, they stayed out. So,
yeah, and really the only way that can hurt them is if we run a full fuel window. If we run a full 21, 22 laps, they will likely have to pit a lap or so before the guys that did take on fuel. And if a yellow came out while they were in the pits, that could hurt them. But chances are, I don't think that's going to hurt them at all. And they were able to gain some of them some good track position. I know Logan Helton started near the rear and has now made his way up to the front row.
All right, you're watching some more come back down pit road, and they're doing what we talked about earlier. They're just topping off for fuel. And you'll see that all night long. That's just how it works here with these super speedway events. Fuel is king.
A lot of activity there on pit road. But those guys that were in the lead up there, they have stayed out still, electing to keep that track position, keep the lead, and hopefully stay ahead of any other incidents that pop up.
Well, the lights are off on top of our pace car. We are about to go back to green flag racing here with the Super Speedway Kings at Talladega.
Third position there, the 88 truck of Gabe Butler was our winner last week at Daytona. Had a great race there and kept his position. He's running P3 in the points right now. And that win last week moved him up even closer. He's only 1 point out of second. And that puts him, I think, a little further, 22 points out of the lead. But again, that's going to change with Sebastian Marin not able to run this week.
Also, we've got Les Levy, I think. Les is in third. Do I have that correct? No, I may have the wrong. You just double check.
Yeah, Gabe is in third as of the 10th race at Daytona. James is in fourth. Dean Wilkinson in fifth. Zachary Workman, we didn't mention in that 19 truck. He is in P2 in the points, 21 out of the lead.
All right, our pace car has dropped off. We're about to go back to green flag racing here. Gary Jenkins is in charge. He's our control car. Entering the Geico restart zone. Green flag. We're back to green flag racing here at Talladega with the Super Speedway Kings.
Yeah, that outside truck of Logan Hilton got a good jump on that restart there. See if he can make his way down into that inside lane.
Too wide. Logan Helton continues to show us the way in the number 63 truck. That's Gary Jenkins on his inside.
That's what we're used to seeing here at Talladega, is on the corners, that inside lane having a slight advantage from being a shorter distance around that corner. So they get a little bit of a jump there, and then getting on the straightaway, and that outside lane gets a bit of a run.
I think that was a really good decision by these guys to not go in that time, take the track position, and try to stay out front. These guys have run a lot with each other. Of course, all these guys have, but these in particular, Logan Helton, Gary Jenkins, J.D. Crow, Gabe Butler, take that opportunity to stay up front.
We just saw that 24 truck of Everett Lane was in that center lane, and was in the outside lane, saw that center lane getting a run, and just very neatly dropped down in front of them. And then as soon as I start talking about it, now he's back again. But it's interesting to watch the way these guys will move and gain positions when they have a run. And you can see that the trucks there, that 63 of Logan Helton pulling out alongside Gary Jenkins in the 90, and that third lane fading back, and that's Everett Lane leading that third lane.
Well, the 90 has dropped off the racing surface.
Oh, the 63 took his spot. He said, I see, and then Everett Lane moves down to that center lane.
Trying to focus on why He backed out. Not really sure what caused him to do that, but he definitely backed out of it. Now it's ready to tail in the pack.
Now, yeah, he just wanted to get back and maybe get out of that everything that was going on up there and get someplace a little bit safer.
Well, he's right there back with Bryant Rainville in the 60 truck. I'm sure those guys could team up and work their way back up.
Yep.
Of course, that changes up our front. You've got Patrick Groover in the 01. He's now in charge of that middle lane. So you got the 63 of Logan Helton, you've got the 01 of Groover, and the 95 on that outside.
Whoa! Everett Lane drops down to that inside line and takes over the lead.
Now, I could be wrong, but I think that 95 truck of James Mayer is the last truck on the lead lap.
I show him one lap down, but
well, he'd be one lap.
Totally trust my. Yeah,
no, that would be correct. Now he's one lap down as he's gone back behind the 63 of Helton. Ooh, a lot of movement at the front here.
Boy, I'll say. Lap 30 of 77 scheduled laps. Logan Helton back out in front again now.
Oh, contact.
Ooh, yeah. He got a little push from Everett Lane there that that truck did not like.
Yeah, a little unsettled there in the push.
Third lane's coming right now. They got a good run out there with that 71 truck.
Yeah, that's Eric Lorry. Yep, with the 071. So lots of good racing here tonight. That outside lane of the 071, the 6 of Cody Nagels, and the 39 of Jimmy Crow Jr.'s on that outside. You've got the 95 in the middle. He's a lap down. The 01 of Patrick Groover, and the 5 behind him of J.D. Crow. And on that inside lane, you've got that 63 of Logan Helton, who's still holding on to his spot, followed the 24 of Everett Lane. Followed behind Everett is the 88 of Gabe Butler and the 33 of David Bond.
You might be sitting at home watching this thinking, well, this isn't that hard. These guys just, they're 3 wide. And they're just driving in a circle. So it can't be that hard. Just stay in your line and turn left. Well, the thing that you don't realize is the amount of air buffeting that these trucks get and how your truck will steer differently when you're right up on somebody or when somebody's up on your tail. It changes the way the air moves over the truck. And so sometimes your truck will feel good and solid, and then other times it feels like the front tires are off the ground because it's just moving on you. You can see some of these trucks in a close-up of how they move side to side, and they're not particularly stable. It takes a good deal of skill and a good deal of practice to be able to do what these guys are doing right now.
Yeah, the margin of error here is minimal, especially at these seas. You're seeing these drivers, they're tight on the rear bumper of the car in front, and as part of that, as they enter a corner, you've got to envision what movements you've got to make to get your car, especially if you're pushing the car in front of you. If you're the pusher of the car in front of you, you got very limited visibility. And you've got to be able to anticipate the track, the corner, when to get into the throttle, when to get out of the throttle, just to try and make those minute changes, all the while dealing with these lane changes and movements that you see. You saw the 63 of Helton. He went up to the middle lane, came back down to the low line. The 01 of Patrick Groover was running that middle line, jumps up to the high line. Those types of changes here, we just talk about them as a matter of fact, but as a driver, it's calculated.
Yeah, maybe we can take a look a little bit later at one of the nose cameras on one of these trucks, and you can see the movement of the truck in front. You can also see how close they get. And remember, this is not a Sunday drive. These guys are running 185, 186 miles an hour, and it's tight racing.
We can drop into the 95s. Let's bring up their nose cam.
That shows you just how close they can get, folks.
And you can you can see the marks on the back of the 63 truck where he got a little bit too close to that truck.
Yep. There's a good plug for Chevy right there. Boom, there he gave him a little tap.
All right, so that gives you a pretty good look at just how close these guys are running. So based on when we last pitted, approximately lap 23, we should begin to see these guys come in around lap 43 or 44. So we are about 8 laps away from potentially a green flag stop, unless fate or karma intervenes.
I think they're going to do it this time. I've got a good feeling that we're going to get a green flag pit stop in here, and that's a whole different skill set. Driving is one thing, and these guys are very good at it, but sometimes these races are won and lost on pit road. And it is
wrecking.
They made a liar out of me.
Big wreck,
another big
wreck.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a byproduct of pack racing, super speedway racing, is when you do have an incident like that, it's usually going to take out several cars. It's very tough because you don't know what's happening to the car in front of you. They're going every which direction.
Let's try to get a bit farther up in the field here, see if we can see when it begins to occur.
Oh, he tried to get up. Yep.
Trying to figure out exactly.
I think it was Patrick Groover that got run into.
Yep.
Yeah, that snap-on truck.
That's
right there.
Steve Korosek, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we'll stay with Steve Korosek here. We'll focus on him as he sees there's an opening and comes up, but it was gone.
Yep, that's the second time tonight we've seen that, where somebody will try to change lanes, but they're just a little too late, just inches, and look what that causes.
Unfortunately, came across the nose of the 01 of Groover, who then came down, I think, into the 88. Is that the 89 or the 029?
That Fender truck.
Yep, that's the 029. Tags the 6, and then
and then it's just
it's game on.
Everybody pile on.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep, a lot of damage. Well,
21 car got airborne. The 03 is airborne there, doing a pirouette. And the 01's not done spinning. The 5 gets by him, but he's already got engine damage, so that means he hit somebody with his nose a little further back in the pack.
All right, while we were going through that incident, a number of drivers have come down and taken their stop. Some guys just came down for fuel, others came down, took tires. Gabe Butler looks like he came down, took a full set of tires and fuel. This is going to really jumble up our starting order. We'll get back once we can figure out everybody. That's the 19 of Zachary Workman in that Instacart truck.
Zachary Workman is our second place in the point standings right now.
Yeah, you've got Gabe Butler sitting third, James Mayer is in fourth, Dean Wilkinson in fifth. There's a better shot of Gabe Butler and that Guinness truck. That's the 24 of Everett Lane. That's the 8 of Dude Conrad. Seth Groover in the 02. David Bond in the 33 in that Skoll truck. You got the 85 of Al Cena. Eric Laurie's back there in the 071 in that John Deere truck. Todd Siebels is the 45 in the, it almost looks like a
iRacing logo on the hood.
Yeah, and on the side.
Yep.
Here's Brian Rainville in the 60 Toyota truck.
Great recovery for Brian. He started out near the back too and has made his way up into the top 10 now. He's got to feel good about his progress so far.
All right, so we're getting our order back together. The lights are off on the pace car. So it looks like we've got Everett Lane, who will be our control car on the restart. And as you're watching, you'll say, well, why is he down below that yellow line? What's he doing down there on the flat? Well, he's saving a little bit of fuel. Not much, but just enough.
Yeah, a lot of these guys will actually turn their truck off and coast to save a little bit of fuel, and then when their speed starts to fall off, they pop the clutch, start it again, catch back up, coast again. You'll see them do that all the way around the track in order to save, all those ounces eventually add up to a gallon, and then those gallons start to add up, and it's a game that they all have to play in order to make it to the front.
All right, we are about to go back to green flag racing here. We thank you for joining us here at the Superspeedway Kings Truck Series at Talladega. You're watching, we're at lap 40. We are past the halfway point. This league is brought to you by Wow Video Tours, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and over-the-top designs. Without those sponsors, leagues like this can be very difficult to operate.
28 cars on the lead lap as the pace car dips down to the apron.
Everett Lane in the 24 will take us to the start finish. entering the Geico restart zone momentarily. And we are back under green here at Talladega.
Good start by Everett Lane there. Dude Conrad in the 8 machine leading that outside row. Lost a little bit of ground, but he's that lane is formed up well behind him, and once they get through this turn, I think we'll see them start to move forward.
Number of lane changes in the back of the pack. You saw that? That was the
some abrupt lane changes.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm thinking that was the 63 of Logan Helton.
Looked like it. He's out there in that 3rd row now.
Yep, they're forming back up, trying to take a run up to the front. He's got some help. I think the 39 is up there.
Yeah, it won't be very many laps, and we'll see that outside lane catch up to the front of the pack.
Yep, he's got the 39. He's got the 88 of Gabe Butler. And another truck behind him. That's the 01 of Patrick Groover.
Yeah, 39 of Jimmy Crow is out there as well. Jimmy's the director of this league, the Super Speedway Kings. And a few guys bailed out on him there.
Lots of action back in the pack as these guys dance around a bit to try and find what works best for them.
Here we are a lap later, and that 3rd lane's almost caught up to the front cars.
And you've also seen a few other drivers kind of move out of that middle lane and then move back up, looking for the better shot. And you're seeing that's Brian Rainville currently right up front now, leading that outside lane.
Yeah, we first became acquainted with Brian during the 500-mile race that we ran over the weekend. Last weekend, I think it was, the weekend prior to Thanksgiving, and did a great job in that race. He was our in-race commentator, in fact. He was texting us while he was driving in the race. He would text the broadcast team updates on what was going on in the pack.
Brian's got a good pusher with the 63 behind him of Logan Helton.
And he bails on Logan and drops down to that center lane and takes the lead.
He's got the 8 behind him. That 8 is Dude Conrad. 24 is still on the low line leading that. That's the 24 of Everett Lane. Everett's got the 02 behind him of Seth Groover.
Yeah, a lot of times in these races, we'll see the Gruber brothers running together. I haven't seen that as much tonight. Looks like Patrick's up in that outside lane right now, I think, and Seth is down in the low lane.
Well, Patrick was involved in that earlier incident from the, that last incident that we just had. Unfortunately, he was a victim of circumstance. But he certainly made his way back up, got his car repaired, and here we go. So you may be wondering, how does that work? So if this is your first time watching an iRacing event like this, you're saying, well, the guy just wrecked and now he's back up in the top 10. How's that possible? So with iRacing, like any other simulation, there's an opportunity to quickly repair your car. And so you'll hear us say a quick repair. That basically it gives you a do-over. So if they can get back to the to pit road under their own power, they could basically just repair their car and get back up on the track. Now that doesn't always happen. It's some leagues that you see, they don't do any quick repairs, but that's kind of the outlier. Most leagues like this, especially, accidents happen, and you want to give everybody an opportunity to get that repair in and get back to the racing surface, because that's what it's all about. The interesting thing about this league itself is it is populated with some very experienced guys here on iRacing. Their ratings are extremely high. Oh, Logan.
Oh, 63 goes around.
Unfortunately, that's going to tear up the entire field.
Man. Anytime you have a wreck like that at the front, almost everybody gets involved. Looks like the 60 took a bit of a hit too. He's got front end damage, and he has just stopped. Up. He got to take a tow back to the pits.
That's unfortunate. All right, let's try to.
Bill had a good run. Looks like Gabe Butler got through there unscathed.
We'll try to go back and see what we can see. What happened to the 63, which unfortunately I believe that may have. Let's go back and look. So 63 has got a push from the 8 behind him.
Oh yeah, and the 8 is going side to side. And if he pushes him right there, he pushed him while he was going up, and it just took that back end and swung it around to the 63. Watch the 8 move side to side here. And as he comes back up, while he's coming up, he makes right there, hooks him, and starts going up, and that just spins the 63. And that starts the melee that's coming.
So the 60 then had contact with the 8, and then just all heck breaks loose. All right.
You see all those cars piling in there. Several of these cars had to get a tow back to pit road. So you'll see them sitting on pit road, and what iRacing does is simulates the amount of time it would take to tow them back. It assigns a numerical value, and might be minute and 20 seconds, or it might be 2 minutes and 30 seconds, depending on where you are on the track and how bad the damage is. And then you can either take advantage of the quick repair once you have been towed back to the pits. You can take advantage of that quick repair, or you can wait, and iRacing will assess the damage to your truck and assign, again, a numerical value in minutes and seconds as to how long you have to wait to get repairs on that truck. And it won't make it as good as new, but it will get it to the point where you can run again.
Unfortunately, I've been on race, I know you have as well. When you get out there, even though it's been repaired, you've got engine damage. You're not able to keep race speed, but you are able to go around.
Yeah, exactly. And that happens with these guys. When you see some trucks out there, if they lose the draft, it's because they just don't have enough oomph to keep up. They've either got front end damage, they have engine damage, body damage of some sort that prohibits them from attaining those speeds. It's not unusual to see trucks out there running 20 miles an hour slower than everyone else just because of the damage they have.
Well, we are at lap 48. We'll probably go back to green flag racing around lap 50 here, leaving us just 27 laps to go. Everybody came in around lap 47, which means they will need one more stop to make it around, barring any cautions.
Yeah, by my count, that was our 4th caution.
You are correct.
Okay, so if we need one more stop, we have one more chance for a green flag pit stop. And I love it when we can get those, because it really shakes up the field. Guys on that inside lane, when you're running 3 wide, think about it, only the inside lane can pit. Guys on the outside can't come down through everybody to get to pit road. So what they have to do is they have to start trying to figure out, okay, I've got to be down to that low line within the next 3 laps. So how am I going to do that? And they'll start picking their way down. They'll look for an opening and they'll go down. Then they'll look for another opening and they'll go down again in order to get to that bottom lane to be able to pit. And that's one of the things that makes green flag pit stops so exciting. It's also one of the things that makes it difficult to attain them, because guys are changing lanes and they're starting to get some desperation. So a lot of times you'll see right before you'd be starting your green flag pit stops, you'll see guys making moves and they get desperate and maybe make a move that they weren't quite clear, and then all of a sudden we have another caution.
Well, it looks like Gabe Butler will be our control car. The lights are off on top of our pace car. And Gabe will be in control of this next restart.
Well, if Gabe can stay out front, this will be a good points night for him. He's currently P3 in the points, and only 1 point behind P2. And with Sebastian Marin not here tonight, I think Zachary Workman and Gabe Butler are 22 and 23 points out of the lead. They could very well find themselves back in the lead.
All right, our pace car has dropped off the racing service. These trucks are about to go back to green flag racing. Warming back up, about to enter that Geico restart zone. Green flag.
You hear those motors wind up. Sound nice.
Field is a bit stretched out. We've got definitely some attrition here. Got 25 trucks on the lead lap. Michael Mello is looks to be the first truck that's a lap down. That 27.
Yeah, that's better than I thought. That's better than I thought we would have after as many trucks as were in that last incident we had.
Well, they do have obviously some quick repairs to use. They got their trucks repaired. We are back to 3 wide, and the Groover brothers are running 1-2 in that outside lane.
Now we're back to where we see them quite regularly, and now we're dividing up into 2 packs. It seems like that lead pack is kind of pulling away from that second group of trucks. They're trying to stay in touch, but
if they can
they've got to get better organized.
They do. They've got to get better organized. You are correct. Well, Gabe Butler continues to show us the way on that low line. He's got the 24 of Everett lane behind him, and of course that will just change in a second as I keep talking. The 027 truck of Steve Korosek is leading that middle line. And you've got the Groover brothers. That is going to be Patrick and Seth running in the 01 and the 02 on the outside there.
Just heard on the radio a couple guys talking in that backpack. James Mayer in that 95 machine is in 4th place in our championship standings, and he was mentioning that he had a little bit of damage and was not able to stay up with that lead draft.
That's unfortunate. All right, we are 26 laps to go here at Talladega with the Superspeedway Kings. Again, I'm Rick Souza with Jeff Neeney here in the booth with the IWM Broadcast Network. We thank you for tuning in, and if you get an opportunity on whatever social media platform you're watching our stream on, Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, please like and follow. And so you can stay up to date. We've got this series on Tuesday nights, which is coming to a close, but we're looking forward to their next season which will be coming up, and we have been asked to broadcast, and we will bring that to you for season 9. And we've got the Tech for Troops series on Wednesday nights. That is a Cup Series race sponsored by Tech for Troops, and that is a series that you'll see every Wednesday night.
Well, I'm not sure how he did it, but somehow Logan Helton is back up leading that middle lane after being turned during that last caution, or because of that last caution.
That's the benefit of that quick repair and some good driving. That was definitely not of his not of his doing, so good for Logan to be able to recover and get back up to the front.
Yep. And he dives down to that inside lane and takes sole possession of first place for the time being. Logan Helton joined this league partway through the season, so he has only participated in 5 out of the 10 races that we have held so far, this being the 11th, but still decent as far as his position. He's running 19th in the standings right now, and that's having run only half of the races, so he has finished well in almost every race he's run.
All right, you've got the 45 of Todd Siebels leading that middle lane now. Logan is leading the low line, and we still got Patrick Groover leading that high line.
Now they picked up another car in that third lane.
Lots of movement.
Gabe Butler got a little loose. He stayed green. Fortunately, he was able to save that down on the apron.
An amazing recovery. Although Sean Stevens may have not been as lucky. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to Sean real quick.
Oh, he got turned. See him working the brakes and the throttle to try to, not quite, keep it off the wall.
Unfortunately. Well, 22 laps to go. Jeff, I'm expecting that we could get some short pitting here at some point.
I think you're probably right. We are approaching right about now. Probably next lap or two, there will be safely within that fuel window, even allowing for a green-white checker. So we could start to see some pit stops here shortly. This is where the drivers really have to be thinking. They've got to be thinking fuel strategy. They've got to be thinking will there be a green-white checker or not? Chances are there will be. Yep, here they are, Rick. You called it. Logan Helton and a few others making their way to pit road, getting down to that 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. They'll come in, fill up on fuel.
Question is it just fuel? Long. Just fuel.
Yep. Filled it up and away we go. Several other trucks in there you see doing the same exact thing, taking on whatever fuel they need, getting that tank as full as they possibly can, getting back out there.
So you saw Logan Helton, Mark Mann, Jimmy Reynolds, Zachary Workman, James Mayer, Robert Rock, J.D. Crow, George Rincon, Joshua Gaithright, all came down. Dean Wilkinson as well here at lap 57.
And here comes another group peeling off to hit pit road, probably about 10 or 12 trucks entering pit road now.
This is
led by Dude Conrad in the 8.
Eric Laurie, Jimmy Crow Jr., Gabe Butler, Gary Jenkins, and Todd Siebels as well.
That leaves Patrick and Seth Groover leading the field right now down to just that one lane that inside lane leading their way back to, and my guess is they will probably pit this time, or they're going to try to wait it out and wait for a yellow flag.
Yeah, that's the gambling aspect of this.
Yeah, it really is. It's I was starting to say how that driver has to be part driver, part crew chief, part spotter, part race strategy director, because he's doing it all. He doesn't. Most of these guys don't have any help at all. They're doing all those positions themselves. So while they're driving, they're trying to figure out their strategy. They don't have a crew chief on the box that's doing that for them.
Well, there's always communication. Hopefully these guys are talking about when they're going in next. Like other super speedways here, like Daytona and even Atlanta now for that matter, you've got to pit with a partner. You've got to come in with at least one other, possibly more, other cars at one time.
That is so true. And another advantage of Talladega is this track is so long, 2.66 miles, that when you go in for a green flag pit stop, you can get back out again without going a lap down. So we still have somewhere in the neighborhood of 24 cars on the lead lap. But some of those guys are pretty far back. They're, I think Dean Wilkinson is the last car on the lead lap, and he's about 40 seconds behind the leader. So that means the leader's only about 10 seconds, 12 seconds behind him. So looks like the Groovers are coming in now.
And that whole pack.
That whole pack, yep.
Well, they had about a 19 or 20 second gap amongst themselves over the cars that were back there. It was a good time to come in. You know, eventually you'll just wear that delta down. So,
yep. And it's going to take these guys a little bit longer because they have less fuel in their tanks. So their pit stops may take a second or two longer to get full, and then they'll head back out. And let's see, I don't know that they can get back out in front of these other guys. Here you see them coming now. They're down at the other end of pit road. And,
well, they came in and got only fuel.
Yep. Here comes the current lead pack out on the track. Boy, it's going to be tight. These guys may make it out in front of them. They're really pushing it on that apron. They get back out to the blue cone like you saw right there, the blend line. The 30 got left down there, but boy, here they come. They've got a head of steam, and they're blowing by them. Seth Groover gets out there, gets in line. Patrick is staying on that inside line. Now he moves up to the center spot in front of his brother.
Well, they blended back in with the field.
They did.
So that has resorted the order up here. We've got Edward Fielder is currently showing right now, is leading the race. He did not pit. He's got the 22 of Brian Kimbler behind him. Brian's at least a one lap down. So he's just basically out there helping that truck make it around and continue. But eventually, we're going to need to see the 111 on pit road. Now, being that far down, this is the guy who's going to gamble.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Let's jump back up to that second pack led by Logan Helton. So right now this pack has got about a 7.5 second delta between themselves and the 111 of Fielder, and they are going to tear that up. You can already see it's falling off rather quickly with 14 laps to go. Now I'm curious to see what's going to happen as they run up on that 111 and that 22.
Yeah, where do those guys go? Are they going to stay down there? I hope they don't stay in the bottom lane.
Well,
the courteous thing to do would be either get up against the wall or get down on the apron.
The 22 of Kimball also pitted last on lap 44. Rick McKinney in the 029 on lap 45. There's a couple guys who are gambling on another yellow flag coming out. Let's try to bring up a track map here to get a feel for just how far it is. Oh, Reckon.
Oh boy, oh my, that's another big one.
Big wreck, tail end of the field.
Another 10 or 15 cars.
And that may have worked. Yeah, a number of wrecks. Let's go back and see what we can see. All right, so we're watching this lead pack. Obviously, that's where the incident occurred. Oh, there it is. I'm trying to see exactly who that was.
Yeah.
Looks like it's the 8. Let's look back. So the 8 is Dude Conrad.
The 01 of Patrick Gruber.
Let's back that up just a little bit. Looks like he may have had a little bit of a help from that 111.
Yeah, the 111. You're right. The 111 taps him.
Yeah, but
gets him loose.
Watch the John Deere truck in front of the 8. I think he maybe had a pretty good run. He kind of backs out of it a bit, backing him up. And I don't think the 111 may have been able to compensate. So watch you'll see a little bit of flash of exhaust burn, little flames out the right side of the John Deere right there.
Yep, there it was.
And that means the 08,
exactly right.
08 got out of the throttle. And unfortunately, he got turned by the 11, and unfortunately that was the melee that was resulting of that.
Oh my, the 071 and the
026
just doing barrel rolls.
Yeah, that's a little bit more than you would see on a typical Saturday with the trucks. But it is what it is. All right. So that has shaken up our field with 11 laps to go. Pretty much everybody came back down who was involved in that incident to a list to get some repairs done. It looks like the 24 has some nose damage and, well, maybe more than just nose damage.
Yeah, he's in a rough spot. He will not be able to stay up with the draft with that kind of damage.
All right, so that puts
like Logan Helton.
It does, yeah.
In the 63 truck.
It's like Zachary Workman. Yep.
Gabe Butler in the 88 in third. Michael Mann in fourth. James Mayer in fifth. And then Stephen Korosek in sixth. Cody Nagels in seventh. George Rincon in eighth. Everett Lane in ninth. And Brad Allison in the 03 or 003, whichever one you want. It depends. He rounds out the top 10.
So Kevin Nagels on YouTube has said, "Let's go, Cody, number 6." It's like he's got some family out there rooting for him, watching him tonight. We appreciate the watch and the view. So thank you very much, Kevin.
See some of these guys coming down to the apron to coast a little bit, save some fuel.
Yeah, I don't really think that they have to do much of that since they pitted last. They now have a yellow flag to save some mileage and fuel, so they're probably all in decent shape.
Yeah, there are 2 potential green-white checkers, so they want to save enough for that, because not only do you have the 2 laps of the green-white checker, but you've got a couple 2 to 3 laps of yellow flag getting ready for that. So some of those guys that pitted that first go around, and I think Logan Helton was one of those, was in that first group that pitted back with about 18 or 19 to go. They will be tight. I think they've got enough fuel, but they will probably be wanting to save as much as they can.
All right, 10 laps to go. Lights are off on top of our pace car. About to get these trucks back underway here for the final 10 laps. This is our 5th caution of the night. Thank you for watching the Super Speedway Kings here at Talladega. Next week will be our last race, and we will be at Atlanta.
I am looking forward to that race. I'd encourage everybody to tune in and get some of your friends and family to tune in as well. Atlanta is a fun racetrack for these guys. There's a lot of action going on. It's only a mile and a half, but it races like a super speedway, which is the reason these guys have added that to their tracks that they attend, that they race on. And we were there once a few races ago, and I just loved it. I love the racing there. Love the way these guys maneuver that track, and I can guarantee you it will be a good show next week.
Well, Jeff, we've had some serious attrition tonight. A number of guys are no longer in the field. That includes the Groover brothers, Sean Stevens, Al Cena, Rick McKinney, Jimmy Crow Jr., I think, is still in the pits, Dude Conrad. Just a lot of attrition these last major incidents that we've had on track. But pace car is off, and we're about to go back to green flag. Logan Helton is our control vehicle. Geico restart zone, and we are back to green flag racing with 10 laps to go here at Talladega. 9 laps at the stripe.
Great jump on that outside row. 19 of Zachary Workman got a good start, falls back a little bit in the corner, but that lane will pick up steam as they get here onto the back straight.
That outside lane is already forming up. We haven't even turned a lap.
Is that the 55 truck?
That is Dean Wilkinson.
Yeah, Dean Wilkinson. So it looks like somebody just trying to go up in front of him.
He did, actually. That's I think that's the 89.
There's another one. The 6 truck just bailed up. Cody Nagels jumped up to that outside line as well. And back down again. He said, no, that run didn't materialize the way I thought it was. Whoop, now he's back up.
So lots of slicing and dicing here as we're coming to the final laps here at Talladega. Everybody's looking for their right partner to dance with. They need someone who can push them or who can work with you and get you around this track. With the waning laps here with 8 to go, you need a buddy. You need more than one, and you have to stay out of trouble. Most of these guys have been in incidents, so all their quick repairs are probably gone.
Yeah, and a good drafting partner is hard to find right now, because with 8 to go, it's every man for himself. We say it every week, but there's a lot of taking and no giving going right now. It's I'm going to do what's best for me, and I don't want to hurt you, but I'm only worrying about helping myself.
Seven laps to go here at Talladega. That outside line still led by the number 6 car of Nagels. Oh, a little bit of contact, and that was
gathered it
Posey.
All back up. Wow.
Yep. That was Shane Posey in the 83 that was out of shape there. Not quite sure just what happened there.
Dean Wilkinson in that 55 was leading that outside lane when it first formed, and then he moved down to the middle lane, and now he's kind of stuck back there about 5 rows back.
Yep.
And just nowhere to go.
95 is trying to give the 63 a good push. Again, you can't make a lot of contact. Yep, that was the 19.
Got Gabe Butler in the 88 a little loose there.
Yeah, these trucks don't exactly line up correctly, so you've really got to get close. Oh, he's out of shape. He's out of shape. He's turning. Wrecking.
Man. Six to go. With that caution, that's going to we'll be able to finish it in regulation, hopefully. Gabe Butler came out on the short end of that stick, I think.
Yeah, he sure did. Let's go back and
somebody turned him. I don't know if it was that 19 car or not, but they had gotten together a little bit just prior to that.
No.
That was Netcode, I think. Look at the 03 come up on him. The 19's off his bumper. He starts going up, and right there, yeah.
All right. So if you haven't heard us explain that, so this is a computer simulation. So the master computers at iRacing do billions of calculations about where each car is in relationship to the other car, and what we colloquially call netcode is basically the computer simulation thinking that car is moving up, that car is moving down. Even if they don't hit, it was probable that they would contact each other. And unfortunately, that's what happened to Gabe Butler, and then there was contact there, and then additional contact further on back. So we tend to call it like it is. If it actually was, a driver's fault or error, we'll call it out. But in this case, I think it was, unfortunately, a little bit of netcode that happened here, and it is what it is. All right, so 4 laps to go. Lights are still on the pace car.
Yeah, Gabe Butler just came back out on the track. He's still on the apron.
Looks like the 22 of Brian Kimbler got his lap back. Just saw him going back around. He's the lucky dog.
That would put 19 cars on the lead lap with 4 laps to go. We have one driver lap down. Eric Laurie in the 071's 1 lap down. And then we have several drivers that are 2 and 3 laps down. Don Stewart, Michael Malau, and Rick McKinney. And really, the way we saw last week's shakeout, with the yellow flags that we had at the end, and then some trucks getting together at the start-finish line, we had somebody that was several positions back, Brian Kimbler, that made it up into 3rd place, had a podium finish. And when probably 10 seconds to go, it didn't look like he was going to be close. So in these super speedway races, just about anything can happen at the end as these guys try. I mean, they're just clawing their way to that finish line, trying to find the best opening for them. And occasionally there's somebody else trying for that same opening. So it's going to get interesting.
It sure is. With just a few laps to go, we are getting ready to go back to green flag racing. Once we go off, and we could finish this in regulation if we hold it back together.
Yeah, they'll be. We'll. It'll be 2 laps to go when we cross the stripe, and so it'll be a green-white checker, but it won't be an official green-white checker. But they'll take the green flag with 2 to go, take the white flag with 1 to go, and if they take the white flag, the next flag ends the race.
Oh, I think someone just blew up in the back of the field.
I saw somebody go down to the apron. Couldn't tell if they came back up or not.
Can't tell. All right, so we are lining up. The 63 of Logan Helton is our control truck. He will control the restart. You've got on the outside the 95 of James Mayer. Behind the 63 is the 6 of Cody Nagels. And behind the 95 is the 03 of Brad Allison.
You remember our leader, Cody Nagel, Logan Helton, was in the front several laps ago when he got taken out, and fortunately, with the help of a quick repair, he was able to make his way back up to the front again. And here he is with 3 laps to go, leading this race.
You got the 171 of Robert Rock there in the top 10. So we got Helton, Mayer, Nagels, Allison, Rock, Rincon, Siebels, Jenkins, Crow, and Posey. Anybody could win this race. That's the crazy thing about super speedway racing. One incident, especially out of turn 4 coming to the stripe for that checker flag, it's anybody's game. So,
boy, that is the truth. Here we go.
So the pace car is now off the racing service. Logan Helton is in charge. About to enter that Geico restart zone. Green flag back here at Talladega. 3 laps to go, 2 at the stripe. It's anybody's race.
Good, clean restart. That 63 of Logan Helton back out in the lead. The 95 truck of James Mayer, another one of our top 5 in points, leading that center line. And now we have a third line forming.
That's Gary Jenkins, I think, in the 90 on that outside with Shane Posey behind him, trying to get that going. The 6 car came up and out and worked his way to drop right down in front of the 63. Oh, a little contact between the 63 and the 6.
Logan's trying to push him through the corner. I think he trusts Cody Nagels that he's going to be able to hang on to it, and everybody, wow. Oh, man.
Huge move.
They are dicing now.
We're about to come back to the stripe. No caution, no caution.
Oh, boy, I thought we were going to. Big save there. A lot of movement around.
Gonna cross this line. Final lap here at Talladega with the Super Speedway Kings. It's anybody's race. Anything can happen.
Logan Helton, Robert Rock, Cody Nagels, James Mayer, Zachary Workman, all trying to win this thing, along with about 15 guys behind them.
The 6 is giving a little push to the 63 to push Logan Helton. Will he stay there? The 171's on the outside. That's Robert Rock. He wants to win this. Contact.
I don't know how he held that truck.
Oh, wrecking.
Big wreck as they come to the line. Whoa.
All right. Looks like that will be won by Logan Helton. Robert Rock is our second place finisher, and Zachary Workman finishes in third. Sorry, folks. We were just as enthralled as you were as we watched that finish.
That was so close. It was hard to tell. I thought Logan won it, but man, it was close. I think that's one of the closest ones I've seen. Take a look at it.
Let's go back and try to get a better shot, because there was contact. Masterful save by Logan Helton.
He gets tapped somewhere along here. Oh, yeah, that's where the 95 car loses it there.
Now remember, the stripe here at Talladega is coming up. It's actually further. You can see it. There's the stripe there.
Wow. That's got to be the closest 1, 2, 3 that we've seen so far this season.
Absolutely. Close finish here at Talladega. And an excellent win by Logan Helton, who's out there celebrating his victory.
Robert Rock was 16 100ths behind Logan Helton, and Zachary Workman was another 200ths behind him. So a total of 0.036 seconds separating first and third. That is some really, really tight racing.
All right, so you're finishing tonight. Logan Helton is your winner. Robert Rock in second. Zachary Workman in third. J.D. Crow in fourth. Shane Posey in fifth. Steve Korosek in sixth. Gabe Butler finishes in seventh. Brian Kimbler in eighth. Gary Jenkins in ninth. And Cody Nagels in 10th.
Great job by these guys. Joshua Gaith right there in 11th. Brad Allison, George Rincone, Mark Mann, Dean Wilkinson making up the rest of the top 15. Then followed by Edward Fiedler, Todd Siebels, James Mayer in 18th slot, followed by Eric Laurie and Rick McKinney rounding out the top 20.
Jimmy Reynolds, Don Stewart, Michael Mallow, Everett Lane, Al Cena, Patrick Groover, and Seth Groover, Dude Conrad, Jimmy Crow, Sean Stevens, James Moen, Elijah Brown, Zachary Lima, Brian Rainville, David Bond, Donald Sadusky, Tony Wright, Mike Rimkus, Todd Dixon, and Jimmy Crawford. That's the results for tonight's event. We hope to have driver interviews with you momentarily.
We want to thank Wow Video Tours, Fort Worth Screen Printing, and Over the Top Designs for helping us bring this race to you. We couldn't do it without them, and we'll say it again. Give them a shout out, give them a thank you, throw them some business if you get the chance. Great people helping us bring you some great racing.
Let's see if we can grab Zachary Workman. Hey, Zachary, can you hear us? Welcome to the broadcast booth. Zachary? Well, it's like
his mic is muted right at the moment, and his headset. Let me see.
All right. Well, let's put him in
I can't.
In the waiting room. Let's see if we can try to find Robert Rock.
Yeah, Robert hasn't been in one of our post-race shows yet. Hopefully he knows to stick around. I think he's here now.
Robert, welcome to the broadcast booth. Congratulations on your second place finish.
Thanks, appreciate it, buddy.
Great finish. Tell us a little about as you were coming. You're only separated by 0.016 with Logan.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, just trading paint with those guys, and I think I had James Mayer pushing me for a while, and then everybody started beating and banging, and it's like I got pulled back a little bit, and darn it, Logan didn't come by and squeak one out there.
Well, it was a good finish.
You get down to the end of these races, and it's every man for himself, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, just it always depends on the pusher and the lines. You know how it goes.
Absolutely. So, any shout outs tonight?
Yeah, I thank, of course, you guys for broadcasting, Jimmy for the host, of course, and my teammates, Dean, Todd, PW Motorsports, and just appreciate running with all these guys.
All right. Well, congratulations on your second place finish. That's the 171 of Robert Rock. Thanks again.
Yeah, fellas, have a good night.
You too. All right. I think we've got Zach Workman. Let's move Zachary back to the broadcast booth. Zachary, welcome to the broadcast booth. Congratulations on your finish.
Thank you, guys.
That was a close one at the stripe. That's probably one of the closest races that we've seen with the lead pack without a whole bunch of carnage.
Yeah, that was crazy. That last lap, I guess a couple trucks started in the first top 10 positions were a little bit more damaged than they thought they were. Originally, we were going to go 3 wide, but I said screw that when I saw that bottom clear and just following the trucks in front of me. Was gonna pretty happy with probably a secured 5th, and I think Cody got into Logan a little bit, got him a little loose. Then we had, some real estate ahead of us. Was going to follow Robert, but I was like, nah, I want to go for the win, so I went around him. But yeah, we'll take 3rd.
Well, one of the things that comes out of tonight, Zachary, is Sebastian Marin wasn't with us tonight racing. He was 21 points ahead of you in the points battle, but with this second place tonight, I think you are probably unofficially our points leader at the moment.
Yeah, that's kind of insane to think about because I knew he wasn't here, so I knew I had to fight Gabe, and Gabe's a freaking wizard at these types of super speedway races, so I knew I had a tough competition to stay in front of him, but we got a good podium, so we'll go into next week, and next week's New Atlanta, and that's Sebastian's playground, so if we can snag a nice top 5, then that'll be very nice.
Well, with Gabe's finish, I think in 7th, I think it's going to be single digits that will separate all 3 of you guys, so should be interesting.
Yeah, that's scary to think about.
It'll make for a fun race next weekend.
Oh, for sure. I'll be gripping that steering wheel pretty hard next week, so that's fun. But no, we do for the side of competition. Sebastian and Gabe are some of the best super speedway racers on the sim. It's an honor to even be up there with them. So we'll see what we can do next week.
Any shout outs tonight?
I got to shout out my team that I was running with, Alliance, Logan, Mark, Jim, Shane, a bunch of other people too. I think Sean Stevens were up there. I turned him in lap 60. I felt really bad for that, but they helped me tonight. I couldn't do it without them. Got to shout out my mom and my dad. They always watch all these races. And broadcast team, thank you guys for broadcasting us every Tuesday. I really look forward to watching the broadcast, and Jimmy Crow for putting this on. Last season, he got me into his Tuesdays, and I've had a lot of fun. I look forward to Tuesdays every week. And got to shout out my girlfriend. She lets me do this, but she's sleeping on the couch right now, so I can celebrate all night.
There you go. All right. Well, there's your 3rd place finisher, Zachary Workman. Zachary, we'll see you next week.
Hey, Zach, before you go.
Yes.
I appreciate you racing. You've been in the top 2 the whole season. You lead the points by 4 points over Gabe Butler, and Sebastian is 21 points behind Gabe. So it's going to be a tight one at New Atlanta. Turn you some practice laps at New Atlanta and be ready to go. Appreciate all your great racing this season.
Thank you, man. If we win, we're celebrating with a Mexican pizza on top of the truck, Jimmy.
Oh, yes, sir. Got to have the Mexican pizza.
I love it.
All right, that's Zachary Workman. Let's see if we can bring in our winner tonight. It'll be Logan Helton. Second. Logan, congratulations and welcome to the broadcast booth.
Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great.
We are
Not
great.
as good as you.
Yeah, that was a fun race there. All race had fun, especially at the end there. That got really, really scary. I I felt like I about got turned 3 different times in those 2 laps, and I don't know what happened off of turn 4, and I don't know how I held on to it, but we held on to it nonetheless, and we got a good push from Cody there in the tri-oval to get us around Robert, and that was just a really fun race at the end. And as how much contact there was and how much we almost all spun and almost killed each other multiple times, it was a fairly clean finish for what it was.
Yeah, lots of contact. We had there's definitely some damage to that tailgate of your truck for sure. So, but yeah, we were marveling the fact that you're able to save that. That was pretty incredible driving there. So,
thank you very much. That I don't know if it makes much sense, but I like to say the reason why I can hold on to certain stuff is like I will purposely wreck myself in practice and try my best to recover from it. And as funny as that sounds, I have done that ever since I started iRacing, and it's paid off many times. And sometimes you get wrecked so bad there's nothing you can do to save it. So such as like earlier the race got turned there while leading, and there's just nothing you could do about it. But whenever there's something you can say about getting wrecked, I'm really glad that I, as funny as it sounds, purposely wreck myself in my practice session.
Hey, that brings up a question I want to ask you. Back, I don't remember which yellow flag it was, but it was right around lap 46, I think, where you were running up front and got turned and did a lot of damage to your truck, but you were able to make it back to the pits, use a quick repair, start near the back, and then you used that outside lane to get to the front. Tell us a little bit about your plan and your strategy there.
Well, last night I was in a league for OP, and I got wrecked with 2 laps to go, and I had won both the stages in that race, and it was at Talladega as well, but it was in the Xfinity car, and we restarted 20th, and I got to that high side as soon as I could, and we came all the way back to win the race. And and that was all help from Zach Workman there. Like, he was pushing me like crazy last night. So that was my same thing. I knew, like, if I can get to this outside lane and get a little lucky, there's nothing stopping me from getting back up front soon. And especially in these races, that's what you want to do. You want to just get up front and stay up front for as long as you can.
Well, it certainly paid off.
Yeah, it did.
Well, congratulations. Any shout-outs tonight?
Just thanks to you guys for broadcasting the race. Thanks to Jimmy for putting up these races. It's a lot of fun to race. Thanks to, and along with Jimmy for putting up the races, thanks to everyone who decides to come and race these. I'd like to thank Nexus Esports. I'd like to thank Alliance Motorsports and everybody else that was in our chat tonight. And thanks to Splash and Go Graphics for this amazing paint scheme. And trying to think of anyone else. Thanks to my friends and family for watching, and the spaghetti we had for tonight before the race.
Okay, good carb up. All right, that's Logan Helton, who's our winner for tonight. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
And we'll see you next week in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys very much.
Got it.
Good job.
All right, that was Logan Helton. He was our winner tonight here at Talladega for the Super Speedway Kings, and Jimmy's here in the booth. And Jimmy, we're looking forward to next week, our final race of this 8th season here for the Super Speedway Kings, as we take this caravan and this pack of drivers to Atlanta.
Oh yeah, should be a lot of fun. What Logan was saying is all true. I would have to make him admin in my servers, because the admins would be wondering what that kid was doing all that crazy stuff in practice. But that's a true story. But yeah, we're going to New Atlanta. I appreciate the guys allowing me to kind of change things if I feel the need to during the season without no problems. Usually when I change anything, I always ask the top 3 in points. I don't just go rogue and do stuff. If I get it okay from all 3 of them, the top 3 in points at the time, that's when I make a change. But yeah, I like New Atlanta. It's different. It's growing on me. Hopefully we can have a good race. We had a pretty good race last time. Just need a little give and take when it's pit stop time, but it should be a lot of fun. Sebastian's really, really good there. I think he might have probably missed this race just to make it interesting next week, but Hey, Gabe and Zach and them boys are going to be ready for him, so it's going to be interesting.
Well, we certainly
That's
are
gonna be an
looking
exciting
forward to
one.
it. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
appreciate y'all calling it. Y'all do an amazing job.
Well, we do it because you guys are a blast to broadcast for. We've enjoyed the racing and absolutely enjoy these drivers and what they can do. So yeah, we're looking forward to Atlanta. We hope our viewers can tune in next week, same time at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the finale of the 8th season of the Super Speedway Kings. This truck series will be at New Atlanta, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah,
It is going to, Jimmy, it's going to be a great race next week. I said earlier in the broadcast how much I loved these guys racing at Atlanta when we were there a few weeks ago, and I think it's going to be another exciting race next week.
Yeah, if we're a super speedway league, you got to run Atlanta because they call it a super speedway now.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we thank you for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the Super Speedway Kings at Talladega. We look forward to seeing you next week when we wrap up this series at Atlanta. Thank you, and have a great night.